Are you guys here? Okay, there you are. Did you guys see me before? Because I feel like I wasn't there. It's like my whole entire system keeps jumping in and jumping out. And I don't see anybody in the comments. Can you guys see me? My phone is flickered on and off for like several minutes. Okay, good. Okay. There you guys are. Something was going on. Did you guys see me? Could you guys hear me before? Because now you guys are all coming into the chat, and before it was like completely dead in here and only Melanie was here. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Well, hello. There's my people. I've been sitting here talking for literally 3 blessed minutes. We're at like 4 minutes and 28 seconds. I have literally been talking here, and I'm like, usually, I mean, Melanie was the only one that came in, and she's like, hey, and I'm like, hi, and she usually responds back if she's the only person here, and she never even responded back to me, so I was kind of curious. I put the word assassination, Charlie Kirk's assassination, into the description. I guess I can't use that word, and I realized there's not a lot of people here, so I better go back out and read my description. Apparently they don't like that word on YouTube. So I was sitting here forever talking, and nobody was here, but there you guys are. Hi, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. We're in office 2. So now that we're 5 minutes into the show and I realized that I was talking to myself for the first 4 minutes, we might as well start the show over again. Hi, I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my show, folks. Holy crap, I can't believe that happened. It said live. It was timing. Like, it says 5 minutes and 39 seconds here. Go back if you guys can see me. I don't know. I'll have to go back and check it out. But I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, you know, I mean, I realize I'm getting a little political on the channel, but so political that only one person shows up to the show? There's... I must have said a really bad word in my description. I said assassination. Charlie Kirk's assassination. I guess they don't like that word on YouTube. I think I'm gonna have to push through that barrier. So I think I'm gonna use that word a lot. So please come over and check out the channel, because they might shadow ban me. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. All right, guys. So we found out some new news that I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, no, I'm not shadow banned. I used a word. I had to go out, remove the word, and then all of a sudden, poof, you guys were here. It's really weird. You keep buffering here? Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be buffering at all. I got great internet on my end. Oh, Justin for all. Hey, love. Hey, love. Big hugs and kiss to you. I wish I could put you on the channel or on the chat, but I can't because I'm in office 2. I'm in office 2. So what we found out, as many of you guys know, Charlie Kirk lost his life by an assassin, right? His name is Tyler Robinson, and many people are now stating, actually it's factually stated at this point, he was indoctrinated, he was brainwashed, and he was put up to carrying out this horrible, horrible act, and he's going to have to pay the price for that. You know, Kash Patel was out, and then just recently, an hour ago, Benny Johnson was out with some new information, and listen to this. Trantifa, I know, we're going to have to, you know what, people are going to be nasty and mean to us. I don't care anymore. I really don't care. When it comes to, you know what, it's fun and games until somebody gets hurt, okay? And then after that somebody gets hurt, and in this case, dead, yeah, the stigma's gone. Like, we've ripped that Band-Aid off. We're firing people left and right. People are like, oh, cancel culture. Well, nobody gave a shit 10 years ago when you were doing the same damn thing. You know, so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, right? You're free to speak your mind over here when it comes to this topic, okay? If you have anything rude to say, you'll be booted. It's just going to be that simple. I have zero patience and zero tolerance for bullshit. And if you don't know that, Check it. My mods are absolutely the best of the best. They are battle tested mods, and they will boot you quicker than I can say boot. Okay? So be nice to people. This is a respectful chat. This is a, we're not perfect Christians, but we do believe in God over here. So you bring any of your anti, crap. This ain't the show. This ain't the show. And we've got our hard line in the sand. I'm happily shedding people for my hard line in the sand. I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine. We want to build a platform that is right for all of us. We don't want evil people in this chat. We just don't. It's done. It's done. So if you guys like Paralegal Liz, big hug and kiss to you. I miss you. I was just thinking about you the other day. How ironic. How ironic. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. So we just have a hard line in the sand. We're not going to bow down. We're not going to give in, we're just going to keep, using our faith, using our words, using our voices. We're going to keep, making dents into this. We've been working very, very hard to get, Omar, expelled from Congress. We've got that. I think we've got that just about under wrap, but I've got to be honest with you. I think people are starting to wake up, even the bad, even because a lot of these people, I'm sure they were just, they're so used to saying things to fit in, I believe that a lot of people that do not have hate in their heart, but did run their mouth, lost their job, as well as some hateful people. But at the end of the day, there's a time and a place, and everybody needs consequences, and I'm happy to see so many people having consequences for their disgusting behavior. So those people that really aren't completely evil and demonic, maybe this will be the wake-up call for them to look more internally into themselves and be better individuals out there in the real world. That's what we want. But here's what we've learned, okay? You guys all know that we found out, there's been rumors that Discord was involved in this situation. There was some type of communication on Discord. People knew. People were kind of glorifying something happening before it happened. So there was a whole community that knew about this and kept their mouth shut. They wanted to see this happen to this young man, which is absolutely appalling. A man that never did anything to them except say that he doesn't accept their way of life, and that is his choice. It is your choice to live your life the way you choose to live your life. It is everybody else's choice to live their life the way they want to. You don't get to tell somebody to respect you. People in this world may not respect you. I grew up in the world of hard knocks, okay? This whole little patty cake thing that we're doing with safe spaces, I told you that was a bad idea. I mocked it for years and everything like that. Exactly, Randa. Discord. Discord came out with a statement to the people saying that he did not use their platform to plan or communicate what he was doing. They said they identified his account. This is from Discord. They identified his account, they reviewed his account, and they didn't find any planning done on that account. Now, we kept hearing that somebody was trying to erase messages and that the FBI they've got everything. I keep wondering when I keep hearing about this Discord, because they're doing subpoenas. Nobody wants to mess with the FBI. You put it like this. I may not break the law, and there may be an FBI that comes and knocks on my door to ask me a question. If I'm not going to be, even though I've committed no crime, if I lie to that FBI agent, I have committed a crime. Under our law, you do not mess with the FBI. You do not lie to the FBI. I hope Discord doesn't lie. But according to Benny Johnson, he actually believes that Discord may go away because of this. Discord is a mess. Well, it's where everybody plans to do horrible things. That's what the hate channels did. You know, that's where they've been passing around all this stuff. We've been talking about it for several years. You guys know this. But I find it awfully ironic that the hate channels have the same playbook that we're seeing here on a national stage. That is very, very concerning and very, very alarming for me personally. I've lived it. You know, I've lived this nonsense, not to this extent whatsoever. My heart bleeds for what's going on, but we have to get to the bottom of it. So I'm going to try to stay more focused on the facts of the case, because I think you guys know how I feel about this. And as we start gearing up closer and closer to Charlie's memorial, I'm probably going to be a little more emotional. It's just very hard. It's a jagged, very jagged pill for me to swallow. What I'm having to deal with last week and into this week. And anyways, so for all of you that don't know what has happened, Charlie Kirk obviously was on the campus of UVU. That's, I can't remember, it's the Utah Valley University. And he had been to Utah Valley University before, and he was doing his kickoff because one of the things that was super important to him was having that connection with our next generation and publicly debating the next generation. A lot of people are confused out there. A lot of people, especially over the last decade, with the indoctrination camps and all this other stuff from our university, there's been a lot of bad information instilled into our young people. And so he thought, because it appeared, at least on the face, and actually, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It appeared that one side of the aisle was trying to destroy the family unit, and so he, you know, being a follower of Christ, and him being so faithful in his religion, he wanted to marry, you know, religion to politics, and he wanted to talk about how biblical writings really do define, you know, political stuff, but that's just his way of connecting with people, and he did it so genuinely. He did it so nicely. You see me when I get into, like, somebody pisses me off or get bitter, you know, you guys see me. I'm like one of these, you know, F you know, kick rocks type of people. You guys know, you guys have watched me for years on this platform. You guys know how I am. If somebody pisses me off, I'm going to tell them about themselves, okay? I'm not the kind of Christian that Charlie is. Now, I realize it's the kind of Christian I need to become, which means I got a lot more work left on me. But you know what? Every single day is a learning day, whatever. You know, we all have work we need to do, even Bullhorn Betty, okay? Now, I didn't say that out loud, and I'll deny it if you tell anybody that I said I have to work on myself, because I do not have to work on myself. We all have some work to do. It's nice to see you guys. But that's what he did, and he really connected. And I can tell you that our movement would not be what it is without Charlie Kirk. He was an amazing person, an amazing man, and it's so senseless that a side of the aisle demonized him to the point of death. And now we're trying to reel and figure out what happened with all this. Where is all this violence and hate coming from? We all can identify it. We can all see it. I mean, there's no denying. The only people at this point that are denying it is the hierarchy of the Democrat Party, because they have to swallow the fact that they're horrible people and they just lost a man his life. And that is something that nobody wants to acknowledge, but you're not going to move past it until you do. You're not going to move past it until you repent. And they're not repenting. They're doubling down. And so we're finding out that this very liberal site of Discord, I didn't even know it. I'm learning a lot, folks. So don't mind me when I tell you stuff like that, because I never knew that there was, you know, liberal social media. I just thought, you know, every person that owned a social media site was just a self-absorbed, you know, oligarch that wants to control, you know, speech. That's the way I look at it, right? According to Benny, Discord lied. They lied to all of us. They told us that they found the account and Tyler wasn't doing any planning. Now, who would have all of the records more so than the government, right? Discord. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because somebody was just in my Twitter account, right? They were just in my Twitter account saying, arguing with me, which I don't argue. I'd make my post. When people start arguing in chat, you'll find out very quickly. I'm the first one to go in there. I don't sit there and call one or other or anybody else. It's just like, listen, you guys can argue. Take me off this thread. To each their own, but I don't want to read this crap. I just don't. the back and forth. Once you post something, you're kind of tagged in it. So I forget that part, but I've been working on it. I've just been softly removing myself instead of making a big orchestration. Kind of want to hurt people's feelings, but I got to remove myself from some of these things because I don't want to say something because my mouth, especially with people I know, can just kind of start popping off. I never heard of Discord. I heard of Discord. I've tried to use it. We were actually going to set up a Discord for you guys to communicate back and forth, like have it like a place to kind of sit and chat with a group of people. Even when we're offline, even when I'm not in there, you guys could go in there and just chat. It's like a group, but it's like real-time chatting. It's I like the idea of it, but it's like with all the online stuff, I could do without it. Most people don't know it. It's really big in the gaming community, but it's being used for really horrible stuff. And when you have makers of a program intentionally and willfully lying to the public about what is being done on their platform, it's almost as if they're trying to cover it up. Versus being, like a Grady Judd. Sometimes he has to arrest his own officers that break the law, but he treats them no differently than anybody else. He'll put his officers right up on that lectern just like he will a common criminal. He is very transparent like that. That's what we all love about Grady Judd. So if Discord really had no knowledge of this, you'd think that when they checked it, they would go and make sure that what they're saying is true, but they were trying to deflect responsibility, in my opinion. Benny thinks they're going to go away because of this. I don't know. I personally think if there is any social media account, even YouTube, that is caught not enforcing certain things and something really bad happens, then you know what? I'm sorry. You lose your platform. I think that needs to be with Roblox, I think is what it's called. I know it's a huge gaming thing, but the stuff that they're doing to our children, they're hunting and preying on our children in that gaming system, it needs to be shut down. Now we have Discord where people are actively, and you cannot tell me because I know what's on that Discord channel for me coming from a hate channel. So I can't imagine what kind of and they never shut them down for doing this kinds of stuff that they have done to me, and that means other people are doing to other people and campaigning and sharing information to attack people online. And I know that has been the case with that particular platform. And then now we find out that this is also happening again, and they're doing this to link up and assassinate people. I'm sorry. Discord, if you're caught doing this stuff and not putting a stop to it and not reporting it, not monitoring your own system, and not hedging, like we have social medias coming out and telling our law enforcement that they have CSAM or, pedo or type of activity on there, but they're not doing it for an assassination attempt. They're not doing it for an assassination attempt. They're keeping their mouth closed, and they're actually publicly coming out and saying nothing happened on their site. And then lo and behold, we get a note or an article from the New York Times that basically blows that entire argument out of the water. They found an erased message, which again, Discord should have had access to all that, and I guarantee they did when they chose to make their very public and quite frankly improper and a total misrepresentation of the truth in order to cover its own ass. I can guarantee you at this point, now that we know Discord is the problem, there's going to be a lot of conservatives working on taking that platform down. I'm pretty sure we have the ear of the president to make that possible. I don't know how they're going to manage this, but I can tell you, Benny Johnson believes that they're going to have some major repercussions over this. So I guess only time will tell. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can tell you if I have an opportunity to advocate for that platform to be taken down, I will. Um, Anything that has, but I want a little more information. I want to make sure it wasn't just, this one letter, but this one letter is pretty damaging. And I don't understand how Roblox needs to be removed. Yes. I do know Congress is working on it. I know there's one congressperson that's working on it right now. Nothing is ever erased from the internet. We think that, but listen, I've been doing a lot. I was watching something, and I think it might have been something that somebody had sent to me from, I think it might even have been an audience member. And they're talking about the AI potentially being able to rewrite metadata. Now, if that is truly a fact, we're screwed. If metadata can be altered or manipulated, we're screwed. We will never know what truth is from reality or from fiction, because it sounds like there is something we don't know. I mean, think about it. We're not engineers. We know we get on a freaking computer, right? And we type in whatever we're looking for. We don't know how it's processing that information. We're not smart enough to know algorithms or how to code algorithms or how to make a Facebook. We don't know that. We just know when we go to the internet and type something in, it gives us articles. Now, what if, again, I'm not on this conspiracy, I don't know if it's a conspiracy yet, but what if there is some type of code that could rewrite articles, backdate information? I'd like to explore that a little bit more. But on the heels of this Discord situation where they lied to the public, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because somebody on my ex was asking, arguing with me, saying, they said Discord came out and said that he didn't do anything on Discord. And I'm like, and I remember the first thing I said, I'm not listening to Discord because they're probably trying to minimize liability. And now that we have this huge statement, I do believe they were trying to minimize liability. And because of that very public statement, they didn't have to come out publicly. Now, mind you, they did not have to come out publicly. They chose to. And they chose to intentionally mislead the American people. And for that reason alone, I think they should lose their platform, if that is true. Obviously you got it, thinking something and it being true are two totally different things. That's why we didn't mind getting people fired, because we did research. We knew that those were their accounts. We knew that these were real people. This wasn't a fake situation, that these people did in fact say those things. The good news is the work we did got a nurse back her job. So there was a surgeon or a medical staff member that was celebrating, and she was very angry, and because he was celebrating the death. Now, mind you, a doctor. That's pretty scary. I want to put this into perspective for everybody here about why we're going after the teachers, the doctors, the nurses. Because they are in charge of taking care of you when you are sick or on your deathbed or need medical intervention. Now, what happens if you have a heart attack and you're wearing a Trump shirt and you go into the ER and every person there hates Trump people? Do you think you're going to be revived? They're going to think of you like a fascist. You're going to go in there, you're going to want to get your heart pumping again, and they're going to be like, let's wait a few more minutes. Sorry, he coded, right? one less fascists in the world. That is what's wrong with that. That is exactly what's wrong with that. I have a major problem with people teaching our kids that hate people, a sector of our country, especially when a sector of their country is their parents. They are teaching those kids to hate their parents. They are going into hospitals and doctors' offices. How do we know the people that were COVID? How do we know that they didn't find out that they were right or left and started killing all the right-leaning people? We don't know. But when I start seeing people dancing and hooting and hollering about a death of a human being, especially in the medical field, especially, because those MFers were required to help us. How can somebody that is supposed to give you life when you're on the brink of death, and they're okay with just unaliving an innocent person that spoke out of their mouth? That is very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So I'm not willing to listen to people school me on why I'm taking doctors and nurses out of their jobs. Okay? We're doing it because it scares the shit out of me to think that one of you might be walking in there with a red hat and not walking out because you walked in with a red hat. Okay? This is serious stuff. So I have been working very hard to make sure people are fired from their jobs, especially in education, and if they have to do anything with dealing with the health and well-being of people, psychologists, everything. We're knocking them out. We're knocking them out. But this person here, we were able to help. You know why? Because she was fired for standing up to a doctor that was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And she got fired. She got fired. Well, it's good news to me to be able to report to you that not only was her job reinstated, the doctor is now bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now there's another one in my state, and we work very hard. This is Steve Cody. If you guys remember, I brought him up on stage the other day. Right there, he's from closer to Miami, in the Palmetto Bay. There it is at the top, right there, Palmetto Bay. And so he had some things to say. Well, you know what? I did what I do before I started calling for his resignation. I called him up on the phone, right? I called his office, and I got a person that picked up, I can't remember what they said, but I think it was like Palmetto Bay City Hall or whatever it was. And I said, yes. I said, Steve Cody's office, please. That's all I said. Steve Cody's office, please. And she's like, okay. And so that you could kind of feel the tension because she knew why I was calling. And so she went ahead, and I was on hold for a minute. And then all of a sudden the phone started ringing, which I knew that they were going to be sending me to his voicemail. So I said, hi, my name is so-and-so from the Bullhorn Betty channel. I am an investigative reporter. We're going to give you an opportunity to explain your statement that has been seen all over social media. And here's my phone number. Please give me a call back. So I assumed maybe a spokesperson would write me. Maybe a spokesperson would send out an email to me. Maybe a spokesperson would call me back. Maybe he would call me back. Maybe he would give me an explanation that he was just making a boneheaded joke, or maybe he was drunk at the time of making it. But no. He didn't bother calling me back. There was no comment that came from his office, no comment that came from Palmetto Bay, no comment whatsoever. And then he decides to double down and say he's not resigning. Well, now he doesn't really have much of a choice. So it's like we gave him an opportunity to do the right thing. I even gave him an opportunity to explain himself. Like, you know me. I don't even give anybody the opportunity. But this is in the state of Florida. I'm from the state of Florida. And so I wanted to ask him. I've never met him personally, which many of you guys know. I go around the state of Florida to meet my representatives, even representatives from other counties, because I get sick of my county saying, we're raising taxes because of Pinellas. Well, then I need to be in Pinellas lowering their taxes. That's how my mind thinks, right? I need to be over in Pinellas lowering their taxes so I can lower my taxes. So I go around the state of Florida, is where I started, and I've never made it down there, don't know this guy, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know I was so freaking angry. And so I did it diplomatically and got the shaft, and then he doubled down, so he took his job. That's how we roll. That's how Florida rolls, right? We've got good politicians here that don't really want to mess with their citizens. They gotta remember, Florida has a bullhorn Betty, okay? We gotta remember that the state of Florida has a bullhorn Betty. I never agreed with Charlie, but I would never wish this on anyone. I appreciate that, Ryan, you know? And that's what it's about. We do not have to agree. That's the beauty of it, Ryan. You don't have to agree with crap he's saying, but at least he had the stones to go out there and face the public and do it respectfully and legitimately. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't get no better than that. And he gave everybody the opportunity to counter him. Like, he just, come on up. You think I'm a horrible person? Let's throw everything out on the table. See if you think I'm a horrible person by the time you leave. You know, some people may still think he's a horrible person. But at least he gave them the opportunity to speak directly with him and to maybe even learn something about themselves, you know? I saw miracles that he did. Literally miracles. And taking people that were depressed, had anxiety, brought them over to the Lord. They were saved. They went on to have amazing lives and families. How in the world can that be wrong? Absolutely, Ryan. That's what it's all about, healthy debate. How can that be wrong? You took somebody out of depression and gave them their place, right? Because usually depression and anxiety, what does it come from? It comes from instability. Really think about it. When you're the lowest on yourself, is it when you're at the highest moment? No, it's when you're at your lowest and you're trying to seek out information because you're just trying to find your way. It happens with all of us, okay? Bullhorn Betty didn't become Bullhorn Betty overnight. I had a terrible road to walk down before I made it to this moment, okay? But here we are, and even at this moment, it doesn't mean that everything, you know, all the crap goes away. You guys have watched me sit up here and go through pure hell on this platform. But I still showed up every day for you. I still showed up every day for the victims. I still showed up every day. You know, as hard as it was, no matter what the embarrassment, no matter how people were talking about me, I figured if I just came out here and showed you who I was, you guys would see for yourself. Am I abrasive? Yes. Can I be a complete a-hole? Yeah. Do I do it from a place of love? Yes. Do you want to mess with me when I'm fighting for a victim? Probably not. You're all probably shaking your head and say, oh no, Betty, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. When it comes to, I'm ruthless lawfully and legally, but I am ruthless, right? And I will continue to be that. But we've got a situation here that it's getting harder and harder not to, I mean, our curiosity in this is like, I think what's drawing me to this case, let's strip all the BS. What's drawing me to this case is how in the world, because I've never been brainwashed, okay? I don't know what brainwashing looks like. And it's so hard for me to comprehend how you take a seemingly normal boy and turn him into a killer in 5 years. That is the part that is blowing my mind, right? And so I am like, kind of just wanting to, like, there's got to be something. And I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we knew about it, but we're getting there. But there's something else. Do you guys remember me talking about how are they identifying these people? Because these people have to have certain behavioral traits. How is it possible they're identifying people? Because you have to be super smart. These people were, I mean, Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was very smart. He seemed pretty normal. He seemed like a dork, you know, like the kid next door. Okay? How the hell did they turn him into a killer? Same with Tyler. I just, but these people are smart. They both have stuff to engineering. I'm interested in, does anybody know about Louis Mangione? What was he in college for before he dropped out? I heard he was incredibly smart too, and he also had writing on his bullets. So I really do believe that these two things are connected somehow. Does anybody, because I know from what I remember, because I know he came from a well-to-do, like, ritzy family. I remember hearing he went to school and dropped out, like he had gotten into an accident or something like that. And when he'd gotten into an accident, oh, by the way, while you have like 1,300 people in here, please don't forget to give the thumbs up here. If you guys are here, if you guys want to know, I am going to be at Charlie Kirk's memorial in Arizona. I'm going to be there with a few of my friends. And I probably will not be obviously streaming anything. It's going to be a very hard day for me. But we will be there, and I will be giving some, some live stuff probably in and around for the next week while I'm in Arizona. But that's just on a different thing. But where was Louis Mangione from? I mean, excuse me. Genius is one molecule away from insanity. Cinderella, you might be right. Because Einstein was just weird. I mean, if you really, I didn't know, obviously, he was long before my time, but everything I learned about Einstein was weird. On Discord and Reddit platforms, getting indoctrinated. Oh, you know what, Vancouver? You're right, because I remember hearing about some Reddit threads. You're right. Yeah, I remember hearing about some Reddit threads. But how did they take this kid, and normally a seemingly normal kid? Listen, we're in 2025, okay? Nobody gives a rat's ass who you're screwing. Okay, let's just put that in that like, I don't care. If you want to be with a boy, be with a boy. If you want to be with a girl, be with a girl. It goes against my religious belief. I'm a heterosexual white woman, okay? That's just me, though. You're not going to change me, just like I'm not going to change you. Why does anybody give a rat's ass whether we accept who they're sleeping with? You don't need to get the world's acceptance of your lifestyle. It's 2025. Nobody gives a crap. Why are we even arguing about it? I mean, like, he is smart. But Alicia, he's got autism. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Fedora, it's like, keep it in the bedroom. I mean, we all keep, even heterosexual people keep it in the bedroom. Like, we ain't flaunting that we're heterosexual. We're damn sure not having parades to celebrate our heterosexualness. I mean, come on. Okay? Let's just stop talking about people's innies and outies, okay? On all levels, in the kids' classrooms, in the adult rooms, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Listen, I've got friends from all walks of life, okay? I really don't care. Justin, please stand up. Did I ask you when we first met? Hey, Justin, which way you swinging, buddy? Trust me, it doesn't come up into my conversation. And you know what? I didn't act like he was like, oh, he's one of them. I love Justin. You ask me right now, that if he was standing right here, we'd be hanging out, hugging on each other, everything else, but swapping spit. And who knows? It depends on how much booze is going. I'm just joking. I don't drink. But we don't care. Okay? We really just don't care. And I think people just need to get over worrying about what, and I keep telling people that. Quit worrying about everybody else, and what do we talk about with our kids? They're coming out of these schools, they're stressed out, they all need counselors. Now I'm starting to go on a freaking conspiracy theory on freaking counselors. They're stressing all these kids out in school, twisting their minds up and sending them over to their friends' all their friends that are doing these counseling sessions, warping their mind, saying, you have a right to feel that way. If I went to a counselor that coddled me, instead of saying, look, this is the real world, let's do the work needed, to get you out of this, right? Instead of saying, oh, it's the whole world. No, it's not the whole world. It's just you, boo-boo. If I can't get a counselor that's going to tell me the truth, what the hell? Why are you paying them money? Oh, that's right, because you need that Prozac medication because you're so stressed out and got so much depression and anxiety. That's right. Forgot. I knew there was big pharma in there somewhere. I'm getting it. And what did I tell you about those pharmaceuticals, right? Like, I had doctors, back when doctors were real doctors, I had them tell me, you can't identify these disorders in young kids. Yet I'm hearing young kids are being put on all this freaking medication. Okay, here we go. We got something. So Luigi Mangione has an MSE from PA State. What's an MSE? And does anybody know what that is? What's an MSE? Most counselors you go to there sit down and they say, they make you say what you want to say and then ask you what you think. I know. Oh, Judy, you're so right. What do they do anyways? They ask you a whole bunch of questions. They solve literally none of your problems, and they make you still work on figuring out the answer for yourself. Well, shit, I could do that all day long at home by myself because I'm sitting here by myself. So guess who I argue with when I'm trying to have a debate, okay? I'm arguing with Betty. I'm arguing with Bullhorn and Betty, okay? They're two different people. One sits on this shoulder, one sits on this shoulder. Masters in socioeconomics. These are smart people, folks. These are smart people. So getting back to what I was talking about is that we have, started talking, it was from another Benny Johnson statement. He had started bringing up the comparison between Crooks and Robinson. And they were most comparable because they were the closest, Crooks tried to take out Trump and Robinson was successfully at taking out Kirk. And so they were comparing the two and they both had off the charts, Masters of Science and Engineering too. Pussy Willow Pendercat, are you sure it's not a Master in Science of Engineering? If he was in the engineering program, can somebody do a Wikipedia for me and tell me? No, I didn't, Gen X. Candace Owens did a podcast. When did she do that? If you can, Gen X, send that to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. In the medical world, mental status examination, right? I don't know. They're saying that it's possible. Wiki says engineer. Are you telling me the last 3 major shooters are all associated with engineering? Interesting. That is blowing my mind. Aw, thank you, DZ. Amen. Amen. Oh my gosh. Are we literally saying that Mangione, Crooks, and Robinson were all affiliated with engineering programs from different schools? Oh, wow. That's a concern. That's a major concern. Okay, well, now I got to look at the engineering scholarships. Shoot. Because I ran a, let me see if I can find it. I know I took a picture of it. Just bear with me, folks. Here it is. So you guys know I've been looking at the scholarship, the avenue, you know, since Benny Johnson started making the comparisons of them, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's the trans community. I didn't know if like maybe the trans community offers scholarships, and I was surprised to find out. So this was going to be the crux of my conversation is, yeah, the trans community does have scholarships, because I truly believe somebody is using scholarships, because now I understand it's been a while, but I don't know why I have the brain I have, and things kind of pop in my brain at random times about things that I did in the past. And I remember filling out my scholarships. Now, this is back when the world was really normal, not like the shit show we have now. And I remember when I was applying for my Pell Grants and other scholarships, because I went to a private college and it was very, very, very expensive. And mind you, I got 0 scholarships. 0. I think I got a $1,200 Pell Grant. And it's because I made too much money. I literally was bare knuckling it, making $9,000 a year. And I was making too much money for a freaking grant to go to school. I had to pay for everything out of pocket. Everything. Anyways, long story short, I remember the litany of paperwork I had to fill out, the questionnaires, the essays I had to write, just everything. You just had to go through and boom, 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 and you just did all of them. And I just did all of them because I didn't know which ones I qualified for. They didn't want you to do this, but my teacher, at high school just said do all of them because you never know. I'm like, okay, I'll do all of them. Never know. So that's what I did. And I went into my registrars. They sat down with me. They started, and it wasn't my high school. It was my registrar at Kaiser College. Fill these out, fill these out, fill these out. Trying to make a way for me to pay for $20,000 a semester, private college. And so we got, filled all this stuff out, and then it dawned on me. I was too naive, too dumb to even think, what am I filling out? I'm just answering questions because I want money. I don't want to spend money. And these questions, as we learned in the Brian Koberger case, can be used. He used them not to manipulate the people in the jail, but he used them to find out more about himself because he's a serial killer. And he had that makeup. So now it's starting to identify how are these people identifying these people. Now, you guys know me, we deal with a lot of psychology on here, so I'm looking at psychological profiles and behaviors, and I'm seeing that these kids are ultra smart. They appear to have some type of home environment that's not, depression that's associated with home environment. A disconnected home environment, and I know what that disconnect was now. It was most likely he came from he came from a very conservative family that probably didn't align with his boyfriend, probably didn't agree with him having a boyfriend. Probably him having the boyfriend really strained the family. And maybe he felt different growing up and his parents never really accepted him or something like that. Now, I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just giving hypotheticals out on what I think would promote this, because I feel like they need to look for smart people. They need to look for people that can think on their feet and clearly have some kind of behavior that they can manipulate, to manipulate that person into carrying out, and then they just start exploiting that little window into his world, make them feel important. That's the key to this, is making them feel important and making them feel like they have a family, making them feel comfortable, making them feel, I mean, you know why I say that? Because that's what they do to the gangs. That's what they do in the gangs to get those little kids to do what they want. Because a lot of these little kids that are in these gang-ridden areas, their parents are on drugs. Their parents are too poor and are working 3 and 4 and 5 jobs just to put food on the table, and they have no real parent in their life, and they're going without. And so these gang members bring them in and make them feel special and give them things and, you know, make them feel like they care. And it's all just a manipulation. Be great. I don't know if he was Mormon or not. I know Mormons are really big in Utah, but I can't speak to the religious background of the parents. I don't know. I didn't look into them. And actually you know, after all the anger and vitriol in me kind of is subsiding, you know, I do feel bad for some of the comments I made about his mom and dad, but I truly do believe they saw something changing in their son and they did not do anything. But I do have to consider, you know, we talk about it all the time, you know, would they ever believe their son, their sweet son that they, you know, traveled around the world with, went fishing with, you know, their baby boy, would he be capable of this? I don't think any parent would think that their child would be capable. So Denise says, yes, he was raised Mormon. Is Mormon yeah, I think Mormon is a strict religion. No caffeine. I remember because I had a guy in my my office when I worked for the CPA. I had a guy, and his name was Ken, and he was Mormon. And I remember he was at the soda machine, and he said, if my wife found out I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper, she would kill me. And I'm like, I won't tell, you know, I never met, I like see his wife like once a year at the Christmas party or something like that. And I'm like, you're not allowed to have a soda? And he's like, not in my religion. And he told me just a little bit. He's like, I'm Mormon. And I didn't know, you know, I was young at the time. I 20, you know, right before my decline, my steep decline. And I just kind of said, oh, I guess Mormons can't have caffeine. I just put 2 and 2 together. So that was kind of weird. Mormon is Lance's family. Vancouver said Mormon is Lance's family. He was raised, hold on, let's read this. He was raised very conservative Mormon family. So yeah. So they are, it sounds like a lot of people out there are Mormon. So I would anticipate that Lance's family is probably also Mormon. Yet they can gamble. My boyfriend's Mormon. That's weird. They can gamble but not have soda? Soda you can have, but caffeine is not good for the body. I got it. Okay, so okay, got it. So it's about the body. Yeah, your body is your temple type of thing. I have cousins in Utah are Mormon. I forgot about that until somebody brought it up. You're right. They do have a lot of Mormons in Utah. Because I remember, I think the first, I didn't know what Sister Wives was all about, okay? I was, you know, you guys remember that it's not a sitcom, but it was like a real life doc on, I guess Mormons have, is that right? Multiple wives? I know it goes against our, you know, our laws here, but it's kind of a religious thing where they actually get around it by only marrying one on the record and then spiritually marrying the other ones, and then they marry their daughters off and stuff like that. That was the first, I mean, no offense, but that was the first time I ever knew of the Mormon faith. And I don't think, I don't want to be disrespectful to the faith, but I would, you know, for me coming from a Christian background where one man, one woman, it's just, it's weird, okay, for me. To each their own, again, 2025 and all. I'm just wanting to make sure everybody in the back can hear. Like, we're in 2025. Nobody gives a crap who you're sleeping with, okay? Literally, No one. Well, the only person that gives a crap that who you're sleeping with is if you're dating somebody else. Okay, they might have. If you're dating another person and you're sleeping around, they may have a problem with. But I don't think they really care which way. It's just the fact that you're with them and not sleeping with only them. Women have no voice with the religion. Yeah, that's it. It's a small community of Mormons that do the multiple marriages. Okay, yeah. I knew it wasn't highly popular, but I know that the ones that are that extreme in the Mormon faith, doesn't seem like the women are too happy. Just my personal opinion. I don't know if I mean, even if I was raised, I guess if I was raised that way, I wouldn't know any different, but I wasn't raised that way, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of a selfish woman, you know, like when I'm dating somebody, I kind of like knowing that they're all mine. I don't know about you, but it's just the bullhorn Betty way, okay? Like, I'm just saying. I kind of like knowing they're mine. I kind of think they'd like knowing I'm theirs, you know. I don't think in my world we want, you know, I don't think we want the party. I'm very selfish. There you go, Denise. Okay, we can be selfish. Okay? There's nothing wrong with it. I just want to make sure everybody understands it. And guess what? If you don't understand it, don't care, I really don't care. Giving up my children as young as 13 to men in their... I have a real problem with that. Yeah! I'm not religion. I'm a Christian and follow Jesus Christ like Christ... Excuse me. Like Christ do my Father. Sorry, there might be some... I can't... I'm on my phone. I wear glasses and the print's starting to get smaller as I get older. Okay? So bear with me. Will all these different religions join back with the Pope? Islam to it called Christian. Chrislam? No, we're not. I'm sorry. No. Islam, in all fairness, and I'm going to stand on my convictions on this, Islam has no place in the Western civilization. It just does not bode with our lives. It doesn't bode with our way of life. It's completely opposite of everything that we believe is true. And if that makes me a bigot, by God, then call me what you will. Call me what you will. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be apologetic. If it's offensive to you, so offensive that you can't watch me, subscribe. Trust me, it doesn't hurt my feelings one bit. I want people here that love one another. Okay? Not that people want to tell people what to do, not that, you know, you got to do this and you got to do that. You know, I just want loving individuals. I don't care where they come from. I just like warriors and fighters for good things. You know, we're very philanthropic over here. We do a lot for the world free of charge. You know, I shouldn't say free of charge. You guys pay for it. You know, we all pay for it. I work very hard. I work 7 days a week to pay for it. But we're all about giving back and service to others. I just, somebody telling me I got to pray, you know, 15 times a day, that I've got to wear black. I can't show my wrist. I can't show my, what? You want Bullhorn Betty to do what? Wear garb on my head? Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Okay? That ain't gonna happen. You gonna try to tell Betty she can't have bacon? Bacon. I can live without the alcohol. You all know me. I'm perfectly fine just by myself. But you're really gonna tell me that I can't have bacon? You've lost your damn mind. If I see, I'm telling you, I can't remember who I told. I think, no, I'm going to keep that. Actually, I might as well just throw it out there while I'm on this subject. When I found out that one guy in Texas was going around telling those stores around Texas, they had 30 days to stop selling booze, big gambling, or pork, or they're going to come in there and shut them down. They got 30 days to move out if they're not going to quit selling it. I'm like, and he's got his little sign and protesting. And I'm like, well, you know what? Somebody better shut this down, because you know me. I'm a very disrespectful woman. I'm going to pull up there with a freaking truckload of pork and just drop it right down there. I think it was Secretary. No, I was like, I'll clean it up. Like, don't be bringing the FBI to my Yep, you guys know I do that. But I damn sure I would probably pay somebody to go out there and drop a mess of crap. If you're going to threaten people in a community with hate, yeah, I can be very disrespectful, and I would do it. I would absolutely do it. Well, might be a smaller truck than I want. But we would definitely do it. We'd definitely do it. But you know what? I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but that whole thing, I mean, people walking around in black from head to toe, you know what? I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, like, that's the stuff they made the scary movies out of, okay? I don't know if you guys remember, but that's what the shit that they made the scary movies out. Maybe I have PTSD from my childhood. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I have a bad vibe every time I see that crap. I trust my gut out here each and every day. Something's telling me that's not right. And guess what? I don't care what people call me. I trust my gut. Why? Because my gut has gotten me out of a lot of crap that could have lost me my life. And it's because of that very gut instinct that I am here today. So I'm sorry. I have a problem with it. My gut has a problem with it. My heart has a problem with it. And my mind has a problem with it. Whatever you need to say about me, you can say it. I don't care. I own it. I own it. If that makes me a bad person, by God, I'm an awful person. But I still stand on my truth, my convictions. I don't like it. Okay? When I see people go, huh, 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 that looks like a freaking Nazi training session. Okay? I don't want no part of it. Okay? None. Are you hiding? Am I getting too loud? Am I getting too loud? Don't be hiding behind. Come on, come say hi. Come say hi. Delilah. Come on. Quit being so shy. Come on. Come say hi. Come say hi. What are you doing? Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? You're not camera shy. Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding behind mommy's back? Why are you hiding behind mommy's back? Huh? Why are you hiding? This is my Prozac right here, right? When I have a bad day, I just look at her little face and she perks me up. She's mommy's baby. She's mommy's baby. Oh, I didn't even have a chance to. This is one of my birthday gifts from from the Real Me Too. I got a coffee cup, and look, I don't know. I don't think this was for me. I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe it'll go with that dress. Can I get it? Can I pass it off as mink? Can I pass it off as mink? I'm just joking. I'm surprised she didn't jump up here and get it. Aw, you little baby. You guys haven't. Look at this darn face. She still has a puppy face. She's a little over 18 months old. Look at that. She got mommy's bundle of joy. And she's so sweet. I mean, you know what? I've never had a problem. Like, this dog didn't chew cords. Thank God. Thank God. You know why? Because we would be poor. We would be channel poor over cords. She has never chewed a cord in this house. And there's cords literally lying everywhere because this is Bullhorn Betty's house, and you never know where I'm going to just go live from. Is it going to be the kitchen? Is it going to be the living room? Is it going to be the office? Is it going to be Office 2? And if you guys don't know what Office 2 is, you haven't been watching Bullhorn Betty long. Okay? Office 2. Office 2 is the bedroom. Okay? This is a pillow. Okay? This is a green screen. And I have a green screen in my bedroom because there for a while, you know, I was going live through most of the Sebastian Rogers case. This was the office. I had paper spread out here, and we worked. We worked nonstop. I think 13 to 16-hour days. We worked. And if you're like, who's we, Betty? You never have anybody over. I know, I get it. No, it's my, you know, it's those people with the blue little wrenches and stuff. They do more than just come here and smack you guys around, okay? They actually do investigative work every now and again. No. Why would it be bad to eat shellfish back in the day? According to the Bible, curiosity here. I don't know. I eat shellfish like it's going out of style. I love anything from the sea. Anything just about from the sea. Is there anything I don't like from the sea? I like oysters, clams, calamari, shark. The only thing I don't like is saltwater catfish. I made the mistake of going out fishing and somebody talking, because all we caught was fat catfish, and they're like, well, I guess we'll keep it and make some fillets out of it. And that was the nastiest crap I've ever. Don't keep saltwater catfish. EL sushi, yeah, I do sushi. Delilah, is it Tweenie dog? No, she's just a little old Chihuahua. She got a Chihuahua mommy and a Chihuahua daddy, and she's an old applehead. She's a tiny little applehead. She's a pocket pup. She's a pocket pup. Shellfish, bottom dwellers, catfish, lobster. Oh, I love some lobster and shrimp now. All right, Denise, you're starting to make my mouth salivate here. I can't, guys, I'm from Florida. If you're from Maine, Florida, I think Maine's better. Well, no, actually, I was on the dock. I was on the dock in Maine. I went to Portland, Maine. I think it was Portland, Maine. Don't they have a Portland, Maine? I feel like it was Portland. I know they have Portland, Oregon. So don't get me there. I'm Michigan. I'm in Michigan. You guys don't. If you're the Michigan gets some freshwater stuff. I bet you guys got some bass and all. Oh, crab legs. Damn. I don't think a seafood restaurant's open at 9:30. I'm from PA. Love seafood. You know what? For the people that don't like seafood, I think it's just because you haven't had it made right. Yes, Portland, Maine. Okay. Well, then if it's Portland, Maine, then I remember being, because they don't they have like when I was out there, wherever I was, they had like docks, and they were like not sponge docks like Tarpon Springs sponge dock, but they had some docks there. But I remember seeing out in the water, there was like well drilling. Like I could see the wells, like the things that that pull the oil out of the whatever. I remember seeing that out in the water. I'm in Livonia. I'm not too far from Dearborn Heights. It's very Islam. I know. Dearborn scares me. That's where I was talking about seeing this. The hitting the I'm like, no. I swear, when I saw that video, just something came over me and said, this is not right. This is not right. Out there in those streets like that, this is not right. This does not sit well with me at all. At all. And I'm seeing people are no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that people say it's a religion, and I'm not touching the book. I don't want to crack the book. I've done some research, and it made me feel demonic when I was doing the research. I don't like it, okay? I can tell when something is not, like, there's something about it that just, every time I try to look in, just something keeps me away from it. Just keeps me away from it. It's telling me, my body, my spirit, whatever's out there in the universe, that aura thing, it's rejecting it, okay? It is absolutely 100% rejecting it. It is not me rejecting it. It is my body. It is whatever I don't understand about my body that's rejecting it. Because every time I see it, something in the pit of my stomach tells me this is not right. It's not right. Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, I was just doing, I was trying to research some, because I was doing, I was on X making some posts. And I was basically making my argument about why I think Islam, whatever, the Quran or whatever it is, just needs to be like outlawed. And it was because of some of the barbaric passages. Just even looking up those, it did not, like, there was something about even just looking it up with me. Like, I felt something that I didn't like. And I'm sorry. I trust that whatever that thing is that I don't know, that same thing that when I pulled up to 1188 King Road, or 1122 King Road, when I pulled up there and I said, there's no way it's any of their friends that they go to school with. None of the ones that I saw pictures of. I knew the minute I rolled up on that property where 4 people lost their lives, I knew it was somebody. I don't know how I knew it, but I came and I went live to you guys right then and I said, this is somebody we're not even looking at, folks. And I remember putting that bombshell out, and nobody wanted to believe me until Brian Koberger over in left field's name came up, and it's like, I'm told you, this is somebody we're not even looking at. I knew right then and there when I walked on that property at that house that we were looking in all the wrong places. And I'm talking about the community in general. It's that thing that I don't understand. That thing that when I got there that I knew that this was none of their friends. That's the thing I'm talking about, that every time I see these people doing these exercises out in public that give me this ick. And if it's me, it's me. And I'm fine with that. It still gives me the ick. So I got to roll with it. Intuition. Yeah. Sometimes I feel too much emotion and I have to distance myself from things, if it makes sense. Yeah. So I'm not going to be apologetic. I'm just going to speak my truth. People are going to, if it offends people, it offends people. It's not intentional, but in these very, very dark times that we're dealing with in our country, I just want I just, right now, I think everybody that doesn't belong here just needs to leave. I think that, we need to get I feel like we need to get our country back in a healthy place before we take anything on. Like, I think all the visas, everything. I just think we need everybody the hell out of the country that doesn't live here, that doesn't belong here. I don't care if it makes a company fall to their knees. I guarantee if they're a good company worth their salt, they're not going to fall apart. I just want everybody to go home, just go home for a while. Let us get the country back together. And then we'll start bringing people back that have been properly vetted so we can feel safe and comfortable in our own backyards. And right now, I very rarely leave my home. And, for a while, I thought it had something to do with, maybe some PTSD from the cases that I'm covering. But I don't think it has anything to do. I used to be very outgoing. I was at every freaking rally. I was at anything that had people. I was always there. I would go from one side of the state to another side of the state. I'd be, over in Miami one day and up in Tampa the next day. It was a crazy life that I led, but I was very, very outgoing, very, very energetic. And it was just like, just little by slow, they started trying to keep me in my house. And that came from the hate channels. That same playbook that I'm talking about, that we're seeing orchestrated on a very smaller level with me than what we saw there. But I just find it awfully funny that this same playbook that we're finding out from this person is the same playbook that's been played on this channel or on this platform multiple times from hate channels. Where did they get that? I believe that the trans community has been around a lot longer than these hate channels. But they're getting this playbook from someone. They're getting this playbook from someone. It means a lot to me that you feel this way. Unfortunately, I see it as we've been divided and wronged by our political leaders. Everything is a tool. I agree. It's just that we're in dark times. And for those that are religious, pray. I don't know what else to tell you. Pray. I'm angry with an entire political party. I will be honest with you. I've never been that way. I've always believed in the sanctity of our party lines and democracy, our republic, our democratic republic. But what I've seen over the last decade, and then it ending with this, it's been tough, because it's always been all of us, fighting for our causes. And for the first time, I've just had enough. Like truly enough, where it's gotten to the point where I'm like, you've got to start seeing your party for who they are. I can't sit here and try to sugarcoat things. I'm never a sugarcoater. If I do sugarcoat, it shows you that I care about you an awful lot. But there's a point when I have to care about the well-being of everybody more than the sugarcoating. And that happened on September 10th. And it is such an unfortunate thing. Do I think every single Democrat of the Democrat Party are horrible people? Of course not. I think there are some really great people that want good for their country, and they believe that that is the way, but they have to open their eyes and see their party for the creatures that they've become. Because a good man lost his life, and whether you liked him or not, he was still a human being. And that's never okay. When that horsemanship, the Minnesota senators, Congress people lost their life, we didn't root. We actually put on a show and tried to help find who was out there that did that to them. That's what we did. And that's what I would expect from another human being to do. And when I saw people cheering, that is the most disgusting, vile thing a human being can do. I want nothing to do with that kind of people at all. Nothing. And I mean nothing. Nothing. I don't want them around me. I don't want them near me. I don't want their evil. I don't want their demonic. And then it comes to the next thing of how can anybody support this? How can anybody continue to support this? And that's when my turning point, as ironic as it is, happened. Will that change? I'm sure as the Democrat Party starts getting its sanity back, or it's destroyed. I think they pretty much destroyed. Now they're supporting a communist. Like, they're out of the closet now. Like, the whole Democratic Party can't hold it in the closet anymore. They're out of the closet. They are the fascists. They are the oppressors. And they're now putting a communist, trying to put a communist in a known communist, one that stands on his platform and says he's a happy communist. They're now trying to instill a communist in New York. Like, if you haven't seen that, like, I even went back to look at the last, I forgot about it. I even put it in that one video. But President Biden, when he gave his State of the Union address, and it was black and red, and I thought, how demonic that looked. How absolutely demonic that looked. And that should have been my clue, but I didn't watch him. I didn't see it. I didn't pay attention to it because I didn't like him. So I'm not listening to crap he had to say. I don't think that all Democrats are evil. I don't think all Democrats are evil, but they have to understand what they're supporting. And if they continue to support it, then they're continuing to support evil. So by proxy, evil by proxy, it's still evil. If you condone evil, then you allow it to creep into your life. You shun evil, you push evil away. If we saw a bunch of Democrat people standing up and taking a stand and saying, no, this is not okay, then I wouldn't feel so jaded by that party, because now when you're sitting on the sidelines and clapping and not policing your own side, you look like a monster. You either have to police it or walk away. Because I'm telling you, if anything like that, and you can take this to the bank, if anything ever like this ever happened on the Republican Party, I wouldn't think for a second of walking away. That is something I would never support. I would never support. You guys already know I could care less whether a D or an R is next to my name. It's about my morals and my policies. Unfortunately, the Republicans have been speaking to my calling more than the Democrats have. Okay? And the Republicans have been speaking to my morality and my calling since the age of 18. And I know that that's just the same for a lot of people, but it's not my side that has we're the ones with all the guns and demanding gun rights. Yet we're taking on the bullets that are flying our way, and you're wondering why we're not wanting to give up our guns? That's what? What? Anyways, Discord, I don't know what's going on with Discord. Discord lied to everybody. It sounds like Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson, was on Discord and communicating about the act of Charlie Kirk. So that's where we are. Discord lied. We're still breaking this down. We know that there's a transgender militia group out there that are indoctrinating bright-minded engineering type of students. And again, getting back to this, I thought maybe there would be maybe it's just a transgender, but look at this. We do have transgender scholarships. Could it start here? Could any of these be, giving them psychological testing to find out who their next candidates are to bring into their world and indoctrinate into militia, into assassins? I don't know. This is just a theory of mine. And then now that I know all three of these were part of the engineering program, this is starting to smell a lot higher up. Like, I'm sorry, you know who targets engineers and really smart people? The CIA. Sorry, not sorry. So, is there a transgender CIA operative out there? Maybe angry, dishonorably discharged, honorably discharged? I don't know, but there's something, and they're college-age students. Now we're starting to identify engineering and bright-minded. We learned from Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast that very, very smart are the most easily to get into the cult-like behavior, because you only have to speak to them logically or with reason, and anybody can turn an illogical conversation into a logical one if you're manipulative. In my opinion, we need different gun laws. I believe citizens have a right to have them, but we need different laws about guns. And I'm from the South, so I know what I'm saying. Yeah, I believe that our Second Amendment rights should not be infringed upon. They do infringe upon them, but I don't think they should. I think that even felons, within reason, should be able to have their gun rights back, because there's nobody that's targeted more than a felon trying to get their life together. And you're stripping them away of protection in a very hostile environment that they're living in. Now, is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. But I think when people pay their debt to society, they paid their debt to society. And this whole thing of where you go into jail for 10 years and you lose your rights to vote for the rest of your life, I don't believe in that. I believe that when you have paid your debt to society, you have paid your debt to society. I don't like people turning these jails into money-making schemes, into a way of keeping people in longer because it's profitable for a company to have these heads in their jails. I don't like people profiting off of that. There's just a lot of moral things that I have a problem with that I see, and we have a lot of changes to make, but the first changes I will always make are to help keep people safe. And right now we have a lot of crime going on. We have a lot of unsolved cases. This case is being solved. I think we have the most transparent investigation we've ever had. We've never had this much information on any assassination or assassination attempt in the history that I can ever remember. We still don't even know what happened to Donald J. Trump. Okay, let's be honest. We have more information coming out about this very public assassination than we ever did in JFK or Martin Luther King. So I'm very, very pleased about that. I truly do believe we will know something about this. Be careful what you say, Blue Savage. We don't play that. We don't talk to people like that. When you are here, you are to be respectful whether you like me or not, because you do not have to be here. You have control over yourself, and if you can't control your own behavior, we'll control it for you. We have a zero tolerance policy for bullying and hate. You speak respectfully or don't speak at all. Those are the rules of this chat. You will learn them. I enforce them, and so does my mods. Zero tolerance. You're allowed to have your opinions, but you are not allowed to insult people. If your mama didn't teach you better, Bullhorn Betty will. Anyways, guys, you rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another, guys. We got to start treating each other a lot kinder, because I'm telling you, I'm the most abrasive person in the world. I have sent many people out of here crying. I've sent many people out of my chat cussing. I've sent many people out of my chat where they spread a whole bunch of nonsense about me because I refused to let them back in. And guess what? I still went to sleep at night. I still had no problem sleeping. And their emotional basket case BS didn't bother me one bit. Just to let you know, if you're concerned about whether you're taking space. But the rest of my family, I love you. I hope you guys have a great night. Oh, I have one request. Actually, I always have requests for you guys, but I have one special request before we close out. Our dear love for our turkey man, he hasn't, he's been here watching when he can, but he's been having a lot of major things going on with him, and it sure would be nice if we can have some prayer for him. Turkey Man's struggling. He's had quite the string of loved ones lost. So again, I don't want to get into his personal business. If he wants to share it, we're actually talking about bringing him on the show in a few weeks just to pray over us. I think it'd be great to have a pastor kind of leading us into the right direction, on this channel. And we do have a lot of spiritual advisors in here, and I always love speaking and always love having prayer said over me. But he's lost a lot of people he's truly cared about here recently, one right after another too. It's awful to hear, and he still has to be the pastor he is, the preacher he is. He still has to go out and go to the hospitals and make the calls that he still makes, even when his whole world is falling apart. So I'm just hoping that maybe you guys, as you guys are saying your prayers over the Kirk family this evening, maybe you can consider one of our own in those prayers, and also include anybody that's struggling. Include the people that have all this hate in their heart. We don't have to like them, but we can love them as human beings and put our hands on them and pray for them. I'm still going to whip their ass in the X state thing. I'm going to keep going down my same drum beat. I want change. I'm going to keep beating up these darn politicians, and we'll keep doing it. I'm cussing a lot over there, so you might want to even say some prayers for Betty. But I've been doing it for 46 years. Well, I probably haven't been cussing since I came out of my mama, but I've been cussing so long. I'm finding that no matter how strong my will and my might is to break the habit of swearing a lot, I'm going to try, but I just don't have the faith I can comply. I even got a beat button. Sonya got me a beat button and everything. So when I feel the need to beep, right? Beat button. And it sits right next to me, and the F-bombs fall out of my mouth before I can grab the beat button. So, we're trying over here, folks. We're trying. We're just not doing a good enough job. Okay, I get it. We'll keep working at it. I'm sure I'll keep cussing. But we do need to pray over people. We need to pray the evil out of this world. The demonic has risen up. I truly believe it. I truly believe something that this is something on a spiritual. I've spoke to a lot of people, and I don't think there's any. I think it truly is a spiritual warfare when we're told that right is wrong, wrong is right, criminals are good. Law-abiding citizens are bad. We're living in a twilight zone. We are not living in a twilight zone. We are living in a spiritual war between evil versus good. I truly believe it. I was never a believer of this before, but after everything I have seen over the last few days, I am truly a believer that we are in a spiritual war. Good versus evil in this country. And I always want to be on the right side of history, and I always want to be on the right side of the goodness, and I'm going to be on the right side of this. We have always been on the right side of almost everything. There's been a few things we've gotten wrong on this channel, but by far we've gotten a lot of things right. A lot of things right. So, as many of you guys know, I'm being compelled, and I'm going to be going to Charlie's memorial. I'll be meeting some very close friends out there, and I'll be running my show from the car, from parking lots, from wherever I can run my show from. It's just how we roll when we're on the road. It's a little bit different because usually I suit up with all my cameras and take you guys out for my searches and stuff like that. This is not going to be something that I'll be broadcasting. It will be something that I'll have a lot to say about. Will I record it? I know everybody does record at these things when they're this big. Everybody's got their phone out. Nobody wants to miss a moment of it. I'll probably record portions of it for you guys, but I don't know if I'll have everything being recorded. I'll have to talk to security when I get there and find out what I can get in. If I can get in my tripod, which they never let us bring tripods in, especially since President's going to be there. I'm going to have to hold it, and trying to hold a freaking 2-pound phone for 2 hours. It's not easy. If you don't believe me, hold it for 2 hours. It's not easy. So I'll see what they get there. I've got to speak to Secret Service. Once I get there, I'll know people. So thank you, Pebbles. Thank you, guys. And just to let you know, I don't know what's going on for tomorrow. If we get up and I've got to get packed, I got to get on the road. I've still got a couple things I've got to file. I've got I forgot to call freaking court and set up a time. I've got a lot of stuff that I've got to do before I leave here. So if I do a live, it's going to be early. It's going to be before business hours, because once we're at business hour time, I've got to go. So when's Charlie's memorial service? It's Sunday. It's Sunday, the 21st. So it's just awful. The last time I seen everybody was at Diamond's memorial, and that was hard. It was unexpected, but it was like most of my group is on. I mean, we have the California sector, but which I'm hoping that I get to see them, because this is Arizona, it's closer to California, so I'm pretty sure I get to see some of our California family. But all my East Coast family that I usually am out with, outside of a couple of them, they can't make it. Two of them is out of town or something like that. One of them's got their husband's going in for surgery, because this was all unexpected. So people just can't undo surgeries and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm tired. I may have to do a live like this tomorrow. Who knows? who knows? But if you have a kid, this is one thing I've got to ask. If you guys have a kid that's in the engineering program and they're going into college, if they're signing up for scholarships, guys, pull those questionnaires, pull the instructions for those scholarship the scholarship forms. Pull all those. Start sending those to me. I want to start reviewing these because I've got friends that can tell me whether these are psychological profiles or not. I need those, or if you guys know where the scholarship stuff is, I'll go pull the crap myself. But I want to know what they're required to do to get those scholarships. So we need to look at transgender scholarships, and it looks like we're going to have to start looking at some of these engineering scholarships, because that is ironic as shit that we have 3 bright men, young men, 3, all 3 affiliated or associated with engineering. One that killed the CEO, one that attempted to kill President Trump, and another one that assassinated Charlie Kirk. That is ironic. All 3, same age, around the same age, all seem to have some type of emotional issue, very, very highly smart and highly skilled, and has the engineer and the behavior of an engineer. We're getting a psychological profile of the real suspects here and how they are identifying the people that they are using to carry out these horrible acts. If you have a smart kid, keep them out of higher education until we find out what the hell is going on. Okay, I would never tell anybody not to learn. I tell you guys all the time, never stop learning. Never stop learning. If you have a question, learn about it. If you don't know something, learn about it. Never, ever, ever stop learning. Are you a grandma 70 years old? Are you a grandfather 70 years old? You should still be learning. If you're still not learning new stuff, you're selling yourself short. Always, always, always learn, okay? And this stuff here, I would never tell you to keep your kids out of college unless I am absolutely convinced that they are brainwashing our kids. We thought about it, but let's be honest. We all kind of thought it was a conspiracy theory. We all kind of thought, because it's so taboo to talk about. You know, nobody wants to believe you. And now we've got this smacking us upside of the blessed head, and we are being forced to consume the fact that we realize what we were hearing is not just a talking point. It truly was happening. For scholarships, you'll find it. SNES, your child to a technical, send your child to a technical institute or learn a trade. Yeah, construction people, they ain't getting into the politics. You know what they want to do? They want to go work hard, drink beer, and play hard. That's the construction field. So you want to be the boss of the construction field. It keeps you always reach for the top too, right? Don't ever stop being an employee. When you're out there and you're working your ass off, your number one key goal is either learn the skills so you can go out on your own, or work up the ladder so you can be the top guy. And if you think you don't have what it takes to be that top guy, you keep learning, you keep working, but you look straight up. You never look down, and you never look this way when you're working. You want to be at that top, you work your ass up and get to that top. There are no free rides here, okay? People didn't get up there by sitting down and watching TV all day. They got up there. They worked their ass off to get up there. Anybody can do it if you put your mind to it. So never, ever, 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 ever sell yourself short and get right with God. We all need to get right with God. I have struggles myself. Every single day, I have struggles with faith. I think sometimes the anger that I have going on right now, it's so easy to blame on this or that. And it's just in the times we're with. So we need to start being a little more faithful and giving ourselves a little more of a break. All right, guys, you guys take care. I've been on here for over an hour and a half. I love you. We'll see you guys tomorrow sometime.